It was always going to be an interesting test match, I think, knowing when we were going to be using a used pitch, because obviously day one was effectively day 6. But yeah, look, I think on day 1 it actually played all right, and it wasn't until the end of day 2 where I think the spin and the sort of the dryness and the usage of the pitch really started to show. I think if you look back on this test match in particular, and look, the guys who had success with the bat were the ones who looked to put a lot of pressure on the spinners, both from our batting lineup and Pakistan's batting lineup. It was one of those where you had to try and find a way to negate the spin. I felt standing at slip when our spinners were bowling, as soon as anyone looked to play, trust their defence too much, is when you massively felt in the game. Like the 200s in the game from Ben Duckett and the Pakistan guy on debut, they really put the pressure on the spinners by just negating any spin, because that was obviously the big threat. But it was an interesting test match to watch. There was a lot happening, a lot going on, and one that I'm pretty sure was good viewing for everyone who turned up to watch, not only here but on the TV as well. It was always going to be a very, very tough ask, but we obviously backed ourselves to chase that down, and I think it was pretty evident of the way that we had to go out there and play. It was a case of chasing the runs down as opposed of looking at how much time we had left in the game. We built some really good partnerships when we started to put the pressure back onto Pakistan. Obviously, it's always going to be in the bowler's favour when there is so much going on. But I think the way in which we approached this run chase was exactly how what was the right way to do it. You couldn't just look to sit in there and bat time, because there was always going to be one with your name on it. So we had to find a way to score runs, which we managed to do, just obviously for not long enough. Because if we did, then we would have got over the line. Yeah, I think it sets the series up brilliantly. That's why I think it should always be an odd number of games in a series. Because you obviously want, if there's going to be results in every game, you want there to be a winner. But yeah, obviously we've got no idea what type of conditions we're going to be faced with for the last test match, and we'll just have to wait and see what we get produced with and what we think is best to give us the best chance of winning that test match. Being very honest, it's actually a lot easier when you know what you've got to go out there and do. Defending the ball was probably the hardest thing to do on that wicket. Everyone was sort of treating a sweep shot like a defence, but it was a scoring option. When you're on those type of wickets, when you're looking in there to defend, you sort of only got one thing in your mind, which is, I can't score. There's eventually going to be one with my name on it. So yeah, obviously when you're looking to play the cross-batted shots with the sweeps and stuff like that, you've obviously got a chance of dismissal, but at least you're giving yourself a chance of scoring runs. And obviously when you're chasing down a total, that's what you need to look at, and you need to find a way to give yourself the best chance of scoring those runs, whilst also putting pressure back onto them. If you're just sitting there on that wicket, I think it was pretty evident that we would have got nowhere near to that total that we would have done if we didn't go out there with that intent to really put the pressure on with our sweep shots. Well, I think they just used the home conditions in their favour. Again, you could look back, and if we had won the toss, it could have been completely different, and then it would have been a silly decision. But the toss was always going to be massive on this. I think me and Shan both knew that, walking out there at 9:30 on whatever day it was. I always call tails, and I won't be changing it next week either. Out of pretty much nowhere, I thought on day 2, it's very tough to change your game plan that you already have gone out there, considering you've watched a day and a half of batters score run playing in a particular way. But Ben Duckett's first innings 100 was just remarkable. He really showed our batting group how to go about scoring runs, and I think we obviously tried to implement that today and yesterday. But yeah, we just couldn't quite build those partnerships for long enough. And yeah, happy with the approach that we took. Hopefully next time we can get over the line if we're faced with similar stuff.